2021. I'd like to have a sense of what the those breakout rooms were like. Maybe for a minute or two, we can just drop a comment into the chat box for us to get a feel, a sense of what transpired in those breakout rooms with those employers, with the representatives of those employers. Ifeoma Ezemalu, so much value and grateful CFA Society in Nigeria. The Africa Invest representative was great. That's from Mubarak Olanipe. Wasiu Adekunle Funlola of FMDQ Group was elaborative and willing to assist. I enjoyed every bit of it and learned a whole lot. That's Chima Ara. Leadway with Sophia was engaging and awesome. Leadway rep was awesome. ARM session was informative. Demola of Afri Invest was very helpful. That's from Tomiwa. Chapel Hill Denham was helpful. It was a great moment with the rep. Thank you, CFA Society Nigeria. Insights on how to navigate and achieve our desired goals. FMDQ team delivered excellently and willing to help. Someone even joined more than one breakout room. Carry asset management for the win. That's from David. I love the session of Kairos investment. Thank you, Ewan, and thank you, CFA Society Nigeria. So, like I said at the beginning of the session, we'll be able to, the breakout rooms have been closed presently. Immediately after the draws later on, we'll be able to open it up again for some further interactions and connections between the representatives of the employers and the attendees. At this point, we'll be moving on to the next segment of the today's edition of the fair, and that'll be welcoming Oladele, VP Parthian Partners, to engage us in a session that I like to liken to a physician trying to heal, a physician heal thyself. I don't know if Ola is talking only to finance and investment professionals or just professionals in general. I'd like to, at this point, welcome Oladele to give a presentation on personal finance strategies for professionals. Ola, over to you.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My TV just went off just as you announced my name, right? Is it fine now?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm really glad to be here. Of course, I'm a CFP person, so it's not like this is like family, right? Hold on a second. Can you see me?
Yes, Ola is trying to set up.
My camera seems to be acting up all of a sudden.
It's technology.
Apologies, and it was fine a few seconds ago. Can you guys see me?
Okay, she's coming back on.
Is it good? It looks very blurry from here. Is it good?
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, it's better now. It's improved. It's off.
Apologies for the delay. I'm not sure what's happening. Let's find it. This okay. This should be okay. A little better. Apologies.
Yes, this is better.
Well, let's start. Let's not take too much time. Hello, everyone. My name is Ola. Of course, a CFA charter holder. I've been a charter holder since 2013. And I'll introduce myself. But today I will be talking about personal finance, like I always do in my not so spare time. Right? Let me share my screen. So we should be good now. Yes. So this is my forte, like my everyday conversation. This is what makes me happier. What keeps me awake at night. I talk about personal finance and investing. And today I'll be talking about personal finance strategy for professionals. So Yemi asked that, am I focused on finance professionals or professionals generally? The truth about it is that when it comes to money, like the color of the dollar is the same, that applies to everyone, right? 15 naira is 15 naira, whether you are an engineer or a doctor, right? So whatever I say here applies to you, regardless of whatever field you are in. But I'm sure most people here are somewhat finance related or connected. So let's start. So outline, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and it's going to be very short because I just have 30 minutes. And I'll tell you about 4 money problems that professionals tend to face and then how to mitigate them. Like I said, money is common to all, right? And a little bit of a background or a foundation to this conversation is a simple question. What really are you working for? So if so you went to school, you graduated, you're hustling for a job, right? A lot of people say, oh, as long as I'm progressing my career, I'm making progress, I'm getting promoted, I'm fine. But have you put in the context of the fact that if you retired and did not have money, you would question what you worked for, right? If for any reason something happened while working and you were unable to afford what you needed, so if it was healthcare, you needed healthcare and you couldn't afford it, or your child needed to go to school and you couldn't pay for it, you would actually question why you are working. So whilst we like to look like cool professionals as finance people especially, right? There is no point to all that coolness, right? If you can't show for it with money, like if there's no money to show for it. So keep that at the back of your mind while we are speaking, because there are common problems that all professionals stand a risk of facing, and there are ways to mitigate it, and there are people who actually mitigate them and have very good financial lives. So introduction, okay, I'm Senior Vice President on the Global Markets team at Parthian Partners. I founded an investment club called the Money Week Club. I'm also a public speaker and an external facilitator. I give treasury-based trainings, personal finance training also, anything around investments. I facilitate trainings, and sometimes I also teach them CFA curriculum. And I'm a YouTuber, so I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Oladele, and I talk about finance and investing and the economy on that channel. So I have 12 years plus experience in investing and trading. I started off my career as a trader, like a securities trader, bonds trading, blah, blah, blah. And I've been a CFA charter holder since 2013. That's about almost getting to 10 years. Wow. So we move on. Now I'll start with scenarios that we can all relate with, right? And my sessions are usually very relatable. And I'm also looking at the chats. If you have thoughts, please just drop them there. I'll be seeing as I go along, right? So imagine you graduate as a copper. Let's say you graduated 2009, right, as a copper, and you started serving. When you were serving, you will take bus, you go to Tedrosho to shop. For those that are not in Lagos, Tedrosho is like a major market, like everybody starts off there, sort of, right? If you are not from an affluent home, you probably shop in Tedrosho at some point in your life. And then if you're on holiday, you go to Ibadan to see your auntie. And then your idea of lunch was you have something by the office, so you send the cleaner to go and buy food for you in a bowl. And that's how NYSC was. And if fast forward to being a full staff, in a year's time, you started earning 2.4 million, right, per annum. And by the end of the first year, you're able to save 180K. But along with that 2.4 million, right, you decided you could afford to go to Ghana on vacation. Instead of shopping at Ted Show, you decided to upgrade to ASOS, like everybody shops at least online, like let them ship it from wherever and come to you. And then sometimes boss just started seeming so stressful. And of course, now the in thing is Uber, like literally nobody takes boss anybody anymore. And we're all on Ubers, like standard, regardless of what you earn, you are taking an Uber. And you upgrade from that ER something or the other to TFC. Like I can't be doing all those ER things anymore and those dirty goals and whatever, right? So you upgrade and you're cool, and that's fine. Now fast forward to 10 years later, 2021, 2019, 2020, you're earning 15 million as a maybe a manager, DM, right? In a bank, not bad. And your total savings, like when I say total savings, I mean all that you have saved of extra cash is 1.2 million in your whole life, in your 10 years of working, right? And but at this time, right, you decide that your vacation destination is Dubai, right? Can't be doing Ghana anymore. Certainly not Ibadan, right? And then you're buying the bags, you're getting a driver, you have a cool car, you have a car loan, and you are really cool. You are the boss babe, you are the big boy. And of course, that's the amala you started with at the start, right? You upgrade to not by Alara and the same 500 naira amala and whatever, right? You're probably paying like 7K, 8K at not by Alara for the same meal. In fact, probably a smaller quantity, right? But you're cool. But what am I talking about here? Something that we all stand a risk of getting caught with. It's called lifestyle inflation, right? Lifestyle inflation basically means that as you start increasing your pay, right, your expenses follows it, right? What does that mean? You were earning a certain amount. I've just given you the scenario, right? If you look back, if you work for 5 years, what was your first pay, right? And what are you earning right now? And what can you show for it? Truth is, you can continue like this till retirement. You can be the GM, you can be the ED, you can be whatever, right? And not have money to show for it. You just have a bigger house, a bigger car, everything bigger, you keep upgrading, but you don't actually have tangible wealth. So this is something that professionals need to be wary of when you start working. So from the very first day, and I'll talk about the mitigants, how to avoid it. But from the very first day you start working, like it's logical. I need to change my wardrobe. I need to look the part. I'm a banker. I can't be looking like this, blah, blah, blah. And you start the journey. And then you say, I can't be carrying Next anymore. My mates are carrying Gucci. I can't be doing this. I can't be staying in this kind of place. And it makes sense. But there's something called lifestyle inflation, and it can hit you, and you can continue like that in retirement. So I'm just giving you a heads up here. So the next thing that gets a lot of people, that a lot of professionals get caught up in is the fear of losing your job. Now, you might say, isn't that logical? But realize it that when you are scared of losing your job, what are you scared of? Is it that you don't like vacation? Is it like you don't like sleeping and waking up at 12 noon? But why are you worried at the loss of your job? Is that you might not be able to fund the things that you need to fund if you don't have a job, right? And what is the impact, right? The first impact is your health, right? You can be in a job that is really horrible, that you are leaving home at 6 a.m. in the morning, you are getting back at 12 midnight, and you are looking cool. Everybody thinks you're cool on the outside. You're driving the best car, driving everything, but you are stressed and you cannot do anything about it because the way your life is structured, you can't afford to resign and you don't even have breathing space to apply for the next job. So it's as much as it might seem like a stress or life decision, there's a money part of it because if, for example, your father was a peddler or your father was some big guy, you would resign. Why? Because you know you will be hungry. So in that fear, there's a part that has to do with money, right? So what is the impact? Your health. It keeps you on the edge. It affects your relationships. You become cranky. That's why you find people that are stressed at work and they come and they're shouting at the littlest thing, they are impatient, they are cranky, and it affects the people around you. So if you are like a family person and you have kids and you spend 7 years at a job that you say you can't afford to resign from, you know that your children can start running away from you every time that he comes back from work. He's always shouting. As soon as you hear the horn at the gate, you run inside. And then it makes you more upset because your children are running away from you. But what is it? It's a money conversation. So you have to be intentional about avoiding it, like positioning yourself not to get caught there because it is real. And I'll talk about how shortly. And then another thing that happens that you lose your confidence, right? Where you should speak up, you can't because you dare not get anybody upset and make you feel threatened or pull the plug or whatever. So you actually can end up losing your voice. Now, to put it in context, the choices that will keep you away from this fear are the choices that will make you wealthy. Your choices around your spending, your lifestyle inflation, how you manage your finances, how you structure your wealth. They are the things that would prevent you from having this fear because you are like, okay, if I lose my job right now, I'm sure that I can pay school fees, I can do this for the next 1 year. And I know that because of all I do and how skilled I am, I will find a job before 1 year is over, so I can breathe. So whatever anybody is doing, let us all be rolling forward, but I'll be fine, right? So it's very important to be aware of this. Now, the third thing, which is very real, is an inability to sustain lifestyle at retirement. Now, if you think about it, your parents, my parents, were working, civil servants, blah, blah, blah. And they funded you, right? They funded your life. They paid for school fees, paid for university, sometimes even paid for masters, right? But now, based on their pensions, you have to support them, right? And then in supporting them, they can't just get up and say, oh, I want to get up, I want to travel to the UK. Oh, I want to get up, I want to do this, right? They have to wait for your approval. Now, if you have seen this movie play out anywhere, right, understand that if you don't do something different, it can happen to you. It's not the people that get caught in this, the people that have to move from Ikoyi to Magboro at retirement or have to move from, you get what I mean? Those kind of lifestyle changes, right? They're normal people, or move from Surulere to outside Lagos, things like that, because they're paying rent and they can't afford to keep up with the rent in those major areas where they have a community, life is good, quality of life is fantastic, but they can't afford to. It happens to good people. It's not because they were bad, it's not because they were not hardworking, but because they didn't plan their finances well. They didn't think about retirement while they were working, right? And lifestyle inflation is a major part of it. Oh, I can afford this now. Let me take my child from this school to this school. And they're legitimate decisions, right? So it's not like they're making poor decisions. I'm assuming that we're all making logical decisions here, not the obvious ones of going to a bar and spending your whole salary. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about regular people that try to be modest in their dealings, right? Well, thank you, Joel, for the feedback. So now, what's the impact? What? A reduced quality of lifestyle. And honestly, you really don't want that to happen at that stage of life because you will question everything. You will question, what did I work for? If you think of people that work, if you have uncles that work in railway, places like that, where able to get their pensions, they'll be queuing, Truth about it is that if they had taken their finances, taken charge of their own finances, they won't be there. Because you also have some uncles who were buying stocks, small. Let me just be buying, small. And now, it's their stocks that are giving them dividend every year. It's their stocks that are sending their children for masters in the UK. I hope I get to the picture. So it also increases pressure on your dependents, right? Lifestyle inflation is a major problem. It leads to depression and irritability, right? And it also leads to an increased risk of stress-related ailments, which also now eats into your money because you have to be on blood pressure medication, you have to be on diabetes medication. Those things cost money. And, so it's just a cycle, right? But where did it start from? Lack of planning, lack of foresight, right? Life happens, but there are things that you could do to hedge those happenings of life. And the final impact is not chilling at the beach house for you, which is very, very important, right? So you might be living a modest life, but really, why would you not want to be flying business class at 65? Why would you be sticking up in an economic class seat at 70, right? Do you understand? Why are you hoping that your child will upgrade you? Why are you hoping that, oh, it's not school fees time, so I can whatever, right? So let's think about it from that angle. So the final thing is avoidable investment losses. What is the impact? The fear or phobia of investment. So what I mean by avoidable investment losses, people retire, they get their gratuity, they throw it into something, it gets lost. That's the end of it, right? What happens is that the children hear of that story and they don't want to invest. Then what happens is that you don't invest, you leave money lying idle in your account. And then imagine if you had money for a bag of rice in January this year, you probably will not be able to buy a full bag of rice, maybe a quarter right now, based on price increase. Or if you think about things like sardine, you won't be able to buy it, right? So it's like double jeopardy. And then if you have that fear, right, based on the loss, then there's a less than optimal growth in your wealth, right? So you have to think about it holistically. Staying on the fence around about investing is not even an option, because especially if you're in Nigeria, we're in a hyperinflation environment, so you can't afford. Yeah, sardine is a major problem right now. Yeah, so you can't afford not to invest, and you also can't afford to be losing money. You can't, right? So how to mitigate this risk, right? For lifestyle inflation, set goals. Why do I say set goals? When you know where you are going, right? It helps you put your decisions together, right? That's the first thing. Then know where you are right now, your current net worth, meaning that how much do I own and how much do I owe? If I own 5K in my account, but I'm owing people 6K, when I add everything up, then my net worth is negative, right? So know where you are. Then find out what you need to do to go from where you are to where you want to be. When you have this conversation with yourself, you see this lifestyle inflation thing, any pay increase you get, you will know where you need to put it. Nobody will tell you. But most times, the real issue is that people have not decided on where they are going and actually analyze where they are and what they need to do to get to where they are going. Once you do that, you would start rethinking this lifestyle inflation. Then for the fear of losing jobs, upskill to increase your market value, socialize and network to stay informed and connected, right? So you because you need people, right? Let's just understand that you still need people. Invest. Financial security breeds confidence, right? If you are able to start a side hustle that is funding you, somebody is threatening you, you'll be fine. Do you get? And these are action, they're actionable items, right? You are things that you can do. Now, for wealth and retirement, you can't depend on your RSA, right? For someone that retired 10 years ago and was collecting 300K as monthly whatever, 300K 10 years ago and 300K now, it's not the same, right? So the value of that money has dropped, or if not halved. So you can't depend on your RSA or your retirement savings account. That's your pension contribution. Sorry, your pension contribution. So start investing now. And then get insurance, life insurance, health insurance, any more insurance you can get it, because car insurance, those things absorb shocks. Any form of insurance you can get, go for it, because they absorb shocks. Those are the things that make the difference between people who you can have the same situation and one person goes past and the other doesn't. It's just insurance. Insurance is key. So as much as you can get, please do get it. Then for avoidable losses, right? A lot of people, even when you are in finance, they don't know how to assess an investment. They just go, this one said it is good, therefore I go with it. It doesn't work. Now I say take baby steps, because investing is a skill, right? It's a muscle that needs to be strengthened over time. So you can't just wake up and say, oh, because I'm a finance person, oh, and I hear this is, I just carry all my money and put it into one thing. No, take baby steps, understand how it works, understand the snags. You get, it's a journey, right? So you plan to live long. Money is like your lifelong journey, right? So don't try and start like an adult when you are a baby when it comes to money, right? Do things in steps, in bits and pieces, After a while, you would grow. Spread your risk, very important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? That's how to avoid losses that can take you out entirely. You know, when you think of people who run a business, the business is doing well, they put back all their money to the business instead of investing in other things, and then a wind blows and the legitimate business goes down and they go from white to black overnight. It can be avoided by spreading your risk. Join communities. You need to have communities. I have like an investment club. What we do is that we provide investment information for people. So you know where you can invest. You can rub minds with people and you can see your biases, right? So you avoid them because humans are naturally biased. Something sounds good to you, you jump at it, right? Talking to people, having community of investment of people that talk about investment helps a whole lot. And don't wait till you have money to do all these three things above, right? You need to start with what you have. You can invest with 5,000 naira. You can invest with 1,000 naira. You can invest with $10. You get as much, whatever you have right now. Life is so good that you can start small. Now, the final thing, just a mindset that I need you guys to have, right? When you go to work every day, you get a salary at the end of the month. Think of that salary as an apple, right? What you do is that you eat the apple, meaning that you fund your life, right? Your life, your living, you get expenses and all that. But what happens, and that's the fruit, but what happens is that in that apple is a seed. There are different things you can do with that seed, from chew it and say you want to use it for fig farm to sowing it in the ground, right? In the right environment. Now, if you sow that seed, right, it has a chance of becoming a tree with plenty of fruits on it, right? That is the same thing with your salary. You get your salary, you spend what you need to, you have a portion that becomes your seed. And if you invest that seed appropriately, it has a chance over time, like every tree, it takes time, but over time to become that massive tree with plenty of fruits with it, on it, right? And I think that's about it on this presentation. It was a short one, but I hope it was valuable. I can take questions in 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much,
And I
Oler.
see one question or statement here. Let me read it.
Yes, Ifeoma Ezeman.
Yes, I started working a little over 2 years ago. In 2 years, I was able to save 2 million and invested 1.5 1.5 in agric, as it seemed quite safe. Agric is not safe. There's nobody. Wait, sorry. High return is a sign that it is high risk. Nobody's dashing you money. That's the first cue. The moment you're getting high return on investment, it means that it is high risk. That's why you need to get educated about investing, right? So yes, you have a phobia, but you have to beat it because the double jeopardy. If you leave that money in your account, if you could have bought sardine with it, you won't be able to afford sardine very soon, or if not, you get. So think about it from that angle, right? You can't stop. What you need to do is to learn, to know what your mistakes were. You can't put the bulk of your money in something so risky. You are working, right? So you're still going to grow. There's no rush. So put some in agric, fine, but don't put everything. Oh yeah, you're learning about network. Okay, well, you have to learn. I think society also provides a lot of information or tips about how to network. So take advantage of that. About my community, follow me on Instagram and send me a DM and I'll respond to you on that. What's my take on crypto? Crypto is it's a currency. I believe it's here to stay, but I think it will evolve. I don't see it as an investment. I see it as a store of value, like a currency, like an actual currency, dollar, naira. But it's because of its scarcity value. That's why it's so volatile, right? If you don't know what you're doing, I will not start to be. I won't put my significant amount of money into crypto trading, right? I won't, because it's high risk. There's no free lunch. Be skeptical about passive high returns. Yes. Also, be very investing in foreign stocks. Foreign stocks are good, right? The same thing. You need to learn. You need to know. There are good stocks. There are bad stocks, right? Can I suggest some investment vehicles one can start with? Well, not on this call. What investment? First investment platform. So understand that when you are investing, right? There's almost nothing like a safe investment platform. What I mean by safe is that they are not fraudulent, meaning that they will not run. But a business can go through a bad patch. And that's what people need to understand, right? what you need is people that will not run when there's a bad patch or not close shop. But investments to go through bad patches, right? So you can't there's a risk to that money, except if you want to put your money in sovereigns. And even in some countries, there's a risk to that, putting your money. By sovereigns, I mean government securities, right? If you want like the safest is relative, but if you want the safest, go for government securities. But if you're young and still working, you need to take some more risks to build your wealth over time. I think that's that. I don't have any other questions. If you have any questions, I'm Oladele on Instagram. You can send me a DM. I'll respond to it. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Oladele, for that impactful session. Lots of questions were pouring in, and you did justice to it. I would like to, at this point, introduce the next session, which is the CV workshop, and how to impress your employer with your CV. This session will be anchored by Fiyin Toyo, the founder of EmpowerU. Fiyin.
Hello, good afternoon. Please let me know if you can hear me.
Loud and clear, you are very audible.
Thank you so much. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak. I'm super excited. I have about 28 minutes, and I'm sure there'll be questions. And so I'd like to breeze through my presentation. Today, we're talking about how to impress that employer with your CV. My name is Fiyin Toyo, and I'm the founder and lead trainer at EmpowerU Career Consulting. I'm also the Senior Innovation and Equity Manager for West Africa at Mondelez International, also known as Cadbury Nigeria PLC. I'm half Nigerian, half Togolese. I love to rep West Africa. A little bit about me. I studied psychology with ergonomics as a first degree at Loughborough University. And then I mastered in public relations, and I became a chartered marketer. My first job was actually in the recruitment industry back in 2007, which was where I learned the tricks and tips of getting through company software, how to sail through interviews and so on. I've been a manager for 11 years, and out of that 11 years, I've spent 7 years within multinational environments. And I believe that whatever the mind can conceive, believe, it can truly achieve. And so today I really wanted to speak to us as professionals about how your CV can unlock growth for you in your career. So typically, if you're looking for a job, you may go through 3 types of stages. So there are the jobs where you will see a vacancy, perhaps on LinkedIn or a job platform. You apply with your CV by uploading your CV on their platform. That's one. So you see an application opportunity and you apply, like a cold application. That's one. The second sort of opportunities are the ones where you also see a cold application and then they ask you to forward your CV to a particular email. And then the third typical case is when a friend or family friend tells you about a job opportunity within their network, and then they ask you to send your CV. Now, it's very important to note the difference in these 3 different scenarios. And there's a reason for this. When you're making a cold application on a company website, the way you send your CV is different to when you're emailing it. And so I'm going to share some of that with you. But before we crack on, just something I wanted to share. The attention span of a human right now is about 8 seconds only, while the average attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. So the average human being has a lower attention span than a goldfish. So what does it mean? It means that we don't have time to be interrupted. It means that we want to assimilate information in the shortest possible time. It means that we're now the microwave generation. And so what does it mean for me as a professional, it means that when I send my CV or my application, the employer, the recruiter, the HR personnel does not have a lot of time to go through my CV and make a decision. It means that I have seconds, less than 8 seconds, to grab their attention because there are thousands of other applications that this person is probably going to go through. Okay, so today I want to share with you a couple of things. The common mistakes that we make on our CVs, especially as Africans and Nigerians. I want to talk about some of the right things we can do in terms of our template, our format, how to pass the 6-second test. So typically, the employer will go through your CV in 6 seconds. They don't read CVs, they scan through. And I always like to share the story of back in 2012 when my manager gave me about 300 CVs to go through between 10:30 p.m. and midnight and shortlist it down to 10. Now, if you look at how long that is 90 minutes. Going through about 300 CVs only leaves a few seconds for me to go through each one and make a shortlist. So you literally have 6 seconds. So how do we pass that 6-second mark? And then even when we have to pass the 6-second mark, what do we do to stand out? So one of the key things that has helped me in my career is positioning myself as an achiever. And of course, keyword optimization. I'll explain to you where keyword optimization plays a role, right? And it's simply in the first scenario where I mentioned, when you send your application on a company software, thousands of other applications will also go through. Now, what happens is that your application is hedged on a place called ATS, Applicant Tracking Software. And what the Applicant Tracking Software simply does is it looks at the thousands of CVs versus the job description that has been supplied by the employer and shortlist the CVs that best match the job description. I think as candidates, once you are clear on this, it will help you in terms of your CV. So let's talk about this. What's all the fuss about the CV? We know what it is. We're professionals here. I'm not going to go on and on about this, but the challenge with CVs, and this is where you hear people make comments like, oh, if you don't know anybody in that place, you can't get a job. So I'm here today to tell you that between 2014 and 2021, I've worked at 3 multinationals by choice, 3 of my dream multinationals, one of them being Guinness Nigeria, the second one being GlaxoSmith Consumer Healthcare, and the third one right now where I'm at is Mondelez International. The first job, I got that through LinkedIn. I was headhunted. The HR reached out to me on LinkedIn. I did not know them. And they said they liked my profile. Would I be interested? And I sent my CV. And that's how I started working at Guinness, right? This current job, I saw the vacancy on LinkedIn. I decided to apply on LinkedIn. I didn't reach out to anybody. Nobody helped me. And with my CV, by matching my CV to the job description, I was shortlisted for a series of interviews, which I passed, and I landed the job. So this is just to tell you that you do not necessarily need to know anybody to get the job. Once you have the right credentials, the right portfolio, you can actually sail through. But the challenge is that majority of CVs don't move through the initial stage because we don't take time to correct our presentation, grammatical errors, and we're not able to stand out. So a lot of the CVs that I see in my line of work are very generic. And I'm just sharing with you some of the companies I've sent my CV to and have been called for interviews and gotten job offers without knowing a single person. These are the common mistakes that we make as professionals. Number one, we give the employer grounds to discriminate. And I say this with all sincerity. Many of us are social media users, and we see things on the internet about tribe and race and gender discrimination and so on and so forth. And these are things that really do exist, and that's the truth. When I look at CVs, because I worked in Nigeria, and I've also worked in England, and when I look at CVs and even Kenya, East Africa, when I look at Nigerian CVs, there's something I notice is the pattern that we have. We have a section on our CV called personal biodata. And in that section, we include our date of birth, our marital status, our local government, state of origin, amongst religion, amongst many other things that have no bearing on our ability to deliver on a job. And so I crack this joke all the time, but it is the reality. When you put your age, you have people that say, oh, this person is too young to come and assume this position, or this person is too old, they're going to be too lazy. This person is married people like to go home early. This person is from this part of the country, we don't like these people. Oh, this person is of this religion. You are creating grounds for the end viewer to discriminate. So there is no need to include any of that information unless they ask you. And the jobs that typically ask for that information are possibly federal government jobs, right? But if you're working in the private sector, there is no need to include that information. For all the jobs that I've worked at, I do not disclose my age or anything about me until the day that I have to sign up, and they'll say, okay, fill this form, your date of birth, address, next of kin, and all of that. Okay, so please do not include any information that is not relevant to the application. The second mistake is that we think we have too much time. I've seen CVs that are 4 pages long, 6 pages long, and so on and so forth. Remember, you have 6 seconds. So help the decision maker to pick your CV, right? So make sure your CV is cut down to 2 pages. And people say stuff like, oh, I have so much experience. How do I cut it down to 2 pages? I've been working since 2007. That is 14 years. My CV is down to 2 pages. Right? I've seen MDs in their 50s with CVs with 1 page, 2 pages. You don't need anything more than that. Nobody's going to read a 3 to 6 page CV, right? Cut it down to the things that are most relevant. All right. The third thing is that we're generic. So, team, I think I would love us to take this opportunity. If you forget everything that I say today, please do not forget this part. The CV, I always say that the candidate that gets the job is not necessarily the best candidate for the job. It's the person that is best prepared, the person that has the most preparation for the job. And the first part of it is the CV. So preparing your CV to match the job description. Now, most of us here are finance professionals, right? And so you're applying for a job as a financial controller or a finance business partner. And the job description clearly states that the person must have P&L skills, possibly cost accounting, and so on. But on your CV, what you put as your skills is communication. What you put is Microsoft Excel, right? And so your CV is not ringing the bells that it should. So when your CV is passed through that software, your CV is not picked out because you have just used a generic CV. Today you apply to Shell with one CV, that same CV goes to a Etisalat. Tomorrow that same CV is going to a job in Canada, tomorrow Cameroon. No, every single time you want to send your CV out to a vacancy, this is the difference. I haven't applied for many, in the last, let me say 7 years, I haven't applied for many jobs. I actually haven't, right? I can tell you that maybe in the first 7 years of my life, I probably applied to hundreds of jobs, almost 1,000. But in the last 7, maybe I've applied to less than 10. Why? Because my CV now gets through easily because I know what I'm doing, okay? So you don't need to apply to thousands of jobs. As long as you spend the time tailoring your CV to the job. Let me give you a simple trick here. Once you know the sort of job you want to do, don't be a jack of all trades. Be clear. I want to go after finance business partner roles. Not finance business partner, procurement, marketing, sales. Just be clear on what jobs you want to go for. The one. Once you have that one, check out a job description for finance business partner or financial controller. What are the skills they need? Of course, you have them. Put them there. So dress your CV in the outlook of finance. So you have a finance CV. Then the next step is once you see a job description, quickly go through the JD. I always used to do this. I will highlight what are the 5 key skills they want. I make sure that my skills match that. Because as a finance professional, I'm sure that you have about 30 skills, right? But different jobs, different industries will require a different complement of those skills. You can't put all 20 on your CV. What you can do is just put about 5 or 6. So every time you apply for a job, you need to update it with the skills that they are asking for in that particular job. So that when your CV goes to their software, and they're asking for P&L is on your CV. They're asking for cost accounting. It's there. Analytics, it's there. You have those skills, but you're not putting them on your CV. So let's not be generic. Another thing is that, when we're writing the CV, there are certain experiences that the job description will ask for. You have those experiences, but you did not include them on your CV before. Make sure you include them. So we mustn't be generic. Another mistake is that we think in the present. I'm sure that many of us in this society today, perhaps we're from HR or procurement and we want to switch into finance. So your previous role is in another line of work. So what you need to do now is dress your CV for this future in finance. So what are the things you're doing in your procurement role that are related to finance? Those are things that you need to call out. In HR, in marketing, I work in innovation and equity. but I have P&L responsibility, right, of new products. So if I want to apply for a job in finance today, those are the things that I will highlight. I like this one. I say, oh boy, you don't talk too much. And it's simply the fact that we ramble on and on. You put a CV of 5 pages, 7 pages, we are talking too much at that point. The next thing I want to say is that we don't meet the requirements. It's very clear. I always say this. If you're applying for a job and there's a job description, that is the expo that you need. They have told you what they want. So make sure your CV addresses exactly what they want. That is the expo. The job description is expo. The other thing that we fail to do, we do not control the eyes of the reader. And what does this mean? When you look at this particular slide, if you notice, this is in bold, it's in white on a blue background. This side, there's some parts here in bold and some parts are smaller. On your CV, for some people, everything is one look. No bold, no underline. If you want to control the eyes of the reader, what are the things you want them to take away? They've given you the job description. Highlight those 5 skills they want using bold. What are your key achievements in your role? Use bold to highlight them. So all it does is that when they open your CV, your 2 pages, they'll just scan through all the things that you put in bold and the things that you underlined. Okay, this is very important. This is another mistake that we make, not shooting our shot. And what do I mean? I see a lot of us in Nigeria, and please, I would love us to be honest. If you're guilty, say guilty. If you're innocent, say innocent. We're applying for a job, and there's that personal bio part, and what we put there is finance and professional with 4 years experience and so and so, looking to add value to any organization where I find myself. And I always laugh and say, so what if you find yourself in Mr. Biggs as a cleaner? Because you want to just positively contribute. No, we need to be specific, looking to apply these skills as a finance controller at Shell, at Unilever, okay? So that specificity is required when you are applying for a job. And then the other mistake we make is a wrong order. I see a lot of CVs and people put their least recent experience first. No, you must arrange your experience in reverse chronological order. The most recent experience should come on first because that is the part that is most relevant. Many of us don't sell ourselves. So how many of us in this forum, thank you, Joel, thank you so much. How many of us in this forum have achievements on our CV, key achievements? How many of us have that section? If I could show you my CV right now, under every job that I have, there's a place that says key achievement. My current job, you see key achievements. My previous one, key achievements. All the jobs, key achievements, very, very key. So we don't do that. And some people say, yeah, but I don't have any achievements. And I crack this joke. I say, if they did not sack you, you must be achieving something, because Nigerians were very short-tempered people, okay? When somebody's not delivering, we're very quick to fire them, right? And so your achievements are things that you have done the fastest, the best, you have delivered, you've cut costs, you've increased revenue, okay? You started team bonding, anything that has contributed to operational efficiency, productivity for the business, or even culture. Those are our key achievements that we need to include on our CV, okay? And many of us don't even sell ourselves enough. And what I mean by that is we focus on our current job. We say, let me just write what I am doing right now. But your previous job, you didn't call out the great things that you did there. You must ensure that even in your previous job, you highlight experience components that are relevant to the job you're applying for. Okay? And then many of us don't tell the right story. So you find that even in your previous jobs, you are writing it in present tense. Those are some of the mistakes that are spotted. So your current job, you should write it in present tense because you're there. And the previous ones in past tense because you've left. So those are some of the small things that we don't look out for in our CV, right? That the employer may spot. And then I say this in no humility, which is just making mouth. And what I mean, because I'm guilty, I used to be guilty. We have a section in our CVs. Please let me know if you're guilty. I was guilty. I raised my hand here. Called skills. And we'll just vomit 20 skills. Microsoft Excel, first aid, P&L, this one, financial control, blah, 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 PowerPoint. Just write it with no evidence. When you write your skills, you must substantiate it with a sentence or two. So presentation skills as was developed during my master's, as I had to conduct presentations every week. So you must substantiate every single skill that you put on your CV, right? And for many of us, we take the easy way out. We don't want to spend time tailoring the CV. And the other mistake we make is giving irrelevant information. Guilty. When I was growing up, my mom, because I got good grades in secondary school, my mom wanted me to be a doctor. So I started trying to be a doctor, studying. I did a lot of courses, first aid, rapid response, and so on. And then when I decided I didn't want to be a doctor anymore, I didn't know how to remove those things from my CV. So I still kept them. There are many of us here today, I'm sure. At some point, maybe you wanted to be a doctor and engineer, you've done some courses. Okay, but now you don't know how to remove it from your CV because you paid so much for that course and it's paining you. Today, I'm telling you to let go. It is no longer relevant to your career in finance. You are wasting space on your CV. Get rid of the unnecessary fat. All those unnecessary certificates and courses that you did in the past, they no longer speak to where you're going. So you can get rid of it. It's a waste of time and space. Okay, think about it as real estate. If you have great land in VI or Ikoyi, what you want to do is build an amazing set of terraces. You're not going to spend time building boys' quarters there. So those old certificates you have is just a boys' quarters that you don't need. Focus on building a fantastic terrace, a mansion, okay? And many of us do not connect. I know you're on that table because I was there too. It was so hard. That first aid there, before I removed it, tears, hot tears. I went for a course that cost £400 and you want me to remove it from my CV? No. In fact, I told myself that, but they will still need somebody to do first aid for them. So let me leave it until I realized I couldn't buy time on my CV or buy space. So let's not waste space. Many of us will now write references and put our former lecturers, our CFA colleagues. Don't worry. When they want to hire you, they will ask you to fill a form with your references. No need to add that there. Waste of space and time. You have 2 pages, make it count. Okay, so very briefly, as I bring my session to a close, this is the structure you want to have. Your personal information, your profile / personal statement, however you want to call it, your work experience, your educational history, your key skills, and then your activities or interests. Okay. And this is just a typical example. Just a few tips here. Put your full name, first name, surname, and then your address. So, team, I know we've seen this before. Many of our CVs, we cannot lie. We must be honest with ourselves. Many of those CVs will still end up pouring popcorn and suya. And so you don't want to include your full address because it could be a danger. So what I typically do is I will just put Ikoyi Lagos or Lekki Lagos. I don't need to put my full address because that's just too much information in this Nigeria that we are in. Okay. The other tip I want to give you, remember that discrimination exists. If you live in Alagbado or Ikorodu and you're applying to a job in Lekki, it might not be the best thing for you to put that because the recruiter will already be telling you, this one is a late comer. Lagos is okay. All right. And then your personal statement, 3 to 4 minutes, 3 to 4 sentences that encompasses who you are, what you have to offer, and what you're looking for. This is an example of something. You must be precise. This used to be my personal statement a couple of years ago. I used to say, I'm a performance-driven marketing manager with sound financial, creative, and leadership skills gained through 8 years multi-market experience. That's who I am. The last 6 years have been spent building brands across food, beverage, and oral health in some of the world's leading multinationals. I have an indisputable hunger for driving business growth, and I'm looking to strengthen my marketing and line management experience at a consumer-centric multinational, past, present, and future. You know what it is I want to do, where I'm coming from, and my skills. Okay. So remember, most of us here, I know we're not recent grads, but remember that you use reverse chronological order on your CV, the most recent experience first. Always highlight your achievements and relevant projects that you've worked on. Okay. Many of us will ask, I did something in my NYC. I did a job that was voluntary. It was this. It's fine. nobody needs to know whether I was paid for. NYSC, work experience is work experience. I use bullet points. Keep it simple, keep it punchy, and always include your achievements. That is how you will distinguish and differentiate yourself from many of the other candidates. Very, very important. Remember, as I bring my session to a close, a good CV is tailored to the role and the company that you apply to. It is well laid out and structured. It is the appropriate length, 2 pages or less. And it immediately tells the hiring manager what you want and what you have to offer. Don't go there with a generic CV. You must have the correct language and grammar. Your CV should be clear and pleasing to read. It must be truthful. And something I need to say, no typographical errors, but a good CV must account for all time spent. Many of us fought with our managers at some point. We resigned and then we had no job for 2 years, 3 years. And so your CV has a gap for 3 years, or some people, due to family circumstances, maternity leave, and so on and so forth, we had to, jump out of work. And so there's a gap on our CV. Your CV must not have a gap. You must account for all time spent. Thank you very much. I've got about 4 minutes to take questions if there are any. No need for, I can see some questions, no need for a picture on your CV. Again, grounds for discrimination. If you are too fine, they will be jealous. If you're not too fine, they will discriminate. So your picture has no relevance to your ability to do the job unless you're applying to be a model or an actress. Okay, can you recommend a website for CV writing? You can check us out, EmpowerU_NG on Instagram or EmpowerU.ng. Can job function be under each work experience or just achievement? I'm not sure I understand that question. How do you account for all the time spent? While you were away, what were you doing? Were you doing an MBA? Put it there. Were you running a business? You need to quantify it. That gap just cannot be there. Okay, were you doing a course? You need to just identify. So what were you doing? You need to put that on your CV. What about time you spent in full-time postgraduate? Does education session explain that? Absolutely. Yes, it does. Okay. And if you notice, if you check out LinkedIn, when people go for their MBA, they normally put it as part of their work experience. So that's something that you can do on LinkedIn as well. I live in Alagbado and just saying Lagos. Is that not a lie? Is Alagbado not in Lagos? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Alagbado was in Lagos, but I think the idea is that you don't necessarily want to identify where exactly you are, because the truth is, am I in Lagos? Oh, Alagbado is in Ogun State. So what you can do, if you're in Alagbado and you're applying to a job in VI, are you going to be leaving from Alagbado every day? You might want to use the address where you'll be staying at. Are free online courses relevant in CV as education? Is it relevant to the job you're applying for? If it is, yes. If it's not, there is no need. What can a fresh graduate without experience do to boost his or her chances? If you don't have experience, get experience. How do you get experience? Go and intern, go and volunteer. A lot of small businesses that need help and support from fresh graduates, you can offer that and you can get the right experience. How do you keep a 2-pager if you're going to include all your achievements? You need to be selective, right? You can't include all your achievements. I have a list of my achievements from my previous job and they're over 100. What did I do? I included the 6 that were most relevant, the 6 that are most exciting. So you don't need to include everything. So you must prioritize. They never call me after applying to LinkedIn jobs. Is there a reason? Your LinkedIn profile might not be great. Your CV might be a challenge. I think those are some of the issues that you may be facing. Is it okay to include position held in school? Yes, you can put that under your university experience. So under my university experience, I used to be the social secretary for the Afro-Caribbean Society. That was there. Can I use a friend or family address instead? If you'll be staying there, yes. But I'm just being honest with you that when you live somewhere far like Ikorodu or Alagbado, those are some of the challenges that you might face. You might have that, discrimination, and the idea is that you want to go for your interview and you want them to judge you basis your experience and your delivery and nothing else. So I'll just take one more question because my time is up in a couple of seconds. In fact, some recruiters add locations of candidates. Exactly, you're right, Ibrahim. Absolutely. Thank you very much, everybody. It's 5 o'clock now and I know my time is up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Grateful. Mr. Frank, I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you so much, Fiyin, for that engaging session. We thank you a lot. Those tips would come in handy when you mentioned the analogy between the CV and real estate. It really piqued my interest that instead of constructing a bungalow on your CV, you should endeavor to put up an imposing edifice. Thank you very much, Phil. We're at that point in the program now where we'll do the raffle draw. And for today's raffle draw, I'm sure many people have been waiting for this moment. For today's raffle draw, we'll be having two winners emerge at the same time. We are going to follow the same protocol we followed yesterday, whereby we'll display on the screen a web link that you can punch onto your device, and you enter the space provided, and you get the question and answer the question. So for today's version, we are going to have the top 10 fastest fingers as that we are going to pick who will come into the pool where we are going to determine two winners out of those first 10 correct answers. Frank, are you ready with the link? So we have about 2 minutes, 2 minutes to quickly put the link up and go and answer the question. So the first 10 correct answers will be the people that will be put into the ballot, where we are going to determine on a random basis who the winners are going to be. I can see some things being typed in the chat box. I don't know if that's the correct answer or not, but we'll know at the end of the exercise who are the people that are going to be qualified into the ballot, and from whom will be getting two eventual winners for today.
We have our winners.
Thank you very much, Frank. I was just about to ask you whether we were good to go. So let us display the fastest 10 correct answers, the people that gave the fastest correct answers. Okay, so we have Solomon, we have Amir Saleh Shiu, that's the second person. Oluwaseun Ajongolo is the third person. The fourth person is Kolawole Olaosun. And the fourth person is Mela. The fifth person, sorry, Mela, okay, Honoriode. Then the next person is Daniel Shodamola. And we also have Olajumoke Gbebo. Is that the 10th person, Frank? Okay, Oluwatosin Oladeton and Adetola Adelu.
Those are the 10.
Those are the fastest, correct 10 answers. So we are going to move all those names into the random software that is going to generate the randomly the names of the two winners that we are going to have for today. And the prize for the winners will be a gift voucher that is going to be worth 20,000 naira each for each of our winners. And the winners today will be joining those from yesterday that have already won their own ballots. Okay, so the names are here again. Solomon, Amir Saleh Shehu, Oluwaseun Ajolongu, Kolawole Olaosun, Mela, Honoriode, Daniel Shodamola, Olajumoke Ogbebo, Oluwatosin Oladeton, and Adetola Adelu. Those are the people that two of them will stand the chance of being winners. So Frank, take us to where we are going to randomly pick those names and let's see who our winners will be. Amir Saleh Shehu. Amir Saleh Shehu is the first winner for today. Amir Saleh Shehu. And the second winner for today is Adetola Adelu. Adetola Adelu. Congratulations to our two winners. They are the winners for today's draw. We are beginning to draw to the end of the second day of career fair. At this point, I would like to invite the pioneer chair of employer relations, Emaku Adomi, to give closing remarks. But before he comes on, I would like to mention again that we are going to reopen the breakout rooms where interested participants can further meet with the representatives of the employers that have partnered with us today. Emaku, I don't know if you are in the room and ready to go. Hi, Emaku.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yemi. Thank you for anchoring this event. Thank you for a brilliant job. I want to also thank everyone that has attended and all the participants today and yesterday as well. I want to say a big thank you. We've come to the end of the event. But like Yemi said, it's not over. You can still go to the breakout rooms, and after I finish talking, and then you can continue to chat with the employers, and also try and get their details so that you can continue offline as well. So thank you, everyone. It's been a very insightful event over the past 2 days, and I'm sure we've all learned a lot. I, for one, have gained a lot listening to the sessions, listening to the presentations. It was very interesting to listen to Oler today talk about lifestyle inflation. It's something we all know about, but I never really heard that there was a particular term like that for it. So that was very interesting and something to keep in mind I wish I knew that when I was a young professional. That would have helped a lot. And also, Fiyin also did a great job with some insights on how we should present our CVs, something that some of us also wish we knew when we are starting out. So thank you, everyone. It's been a great event. And I also like to thank the Society Office for putting together the event, and also the Employer Relations Committee for planning the event. Thank you, everybody. That's it. Let's have a great evening ahead. Thank you so much. And don't forget, you can go back to the breakout rooms. And before I forget, our participating employers, AROM, I need to mention especially the employers, AROM, Afri Invest, Chapel in Denham, Cowrie Asset Management, FMDQ Group, Greenwich Merchant Bank, Kairos Africa, Leadway Assurance. Thank you so much. We look forward to more great events with you and more partnership as we try to continue with the investment profession. Thank you so much.
You've made a decision to aim for a long-term and successful finance career. Taking the Chartered Financial Analyst CFA exam and studying the curriculum is an excellent way to ensure you have a strong knowledge base and top-notch skills. Are you ready to take the bold step to invest in yourself? CFA Society Nigeria is at your disposal, promoting the highest standards of investment practice in Nigeria. As an affiliate of CFA Institute, CFA Society Nigeria seeks to promote the highest standards of investment practice in Nigeria and to provide a vibrant community in which its members and other key players in the investment industry can interact and grow. When you have the CFA Charter, you're globally recognized. Take advantage today by writing the CFA exam and joining us at CFA Society Nigeria. For more information, visit us at cfasocietyn.org. CFA Society Nigeria, making finance a force for good.
FMDQ Group is the one-stop platform in Africa where you can efficiently commence and end all your financial markets transactions. From registration, listing, quotation, and trading of debt securities such as bonds, commercial papers, to risk management, central counterparty services, and securities settlement, as well as depository services. FMDQ Group empowers and provides corporates, individuals, and governments with an unrivaled access to a value chain of opportunities to raise their corporate profiles in the Nigerian financial market. FMDQ Group, through FMDQ Private Markets, provides an organized platform to promote inclusion of private companies in the capital markets. We are Africa's first vertically integrated financial market infrastructure group. At FMDQ Group, our agenda is to make the Nigerian financial markets globally competitive, operationally excellent, liquid, and diverse. For more information on how we create value for you, visit www.fmdqgroup.com and follow us on our social media handles at FMDQ Group.
Please keep an eye on them.
Oh, that's all right.
Uncle Paul, look! I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
That's good. I've always wanted to be friends with a pilot.
Uncle Paul, what's your job?
I help people understand things.
Like a teacher?
Almost. I help explain to mummies and daddies what they can do with their money. I help people build stuff. And I'm always there when they are happy and when they are sad. I help people grow all kinds of things.
You're a farmer!
Not quite. I help people keep and grow their money so later they come back when it's bigger for themselves.
You're a magician!
Just like a pilot, I help people move from where they are to where they want to be.
Thank you, Uncle Paul.
Pilot.
ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.